Subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon to never miss an update from Endeavour Careers. Hello and welcome to Endeavour's GK capsule for the month of December 2021. The world seems to be in the grip of the new Omicron variant of coronavirus this month. Identified in South Africa, the variant is spreading exponentially across the world. Nearly 2,000 Omicron patients have been detected in India so far. In another tragic news, India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, was killed in a chopper crash. With election in sight, some big-ticket infrastructure projects were launched in Uttar Pradesh. Let us look at these and other highlights of the month. The first category is awards and recognitions. Indian mathematician Professor Neena Gupta became the fourth Indian to win the Ramanujan Prize for Young Mathematicians 2021. The Ramanujan Prize is given internationally to young mathematicians under the age of 45 years for outstanding work in the field. The prize is awarded in the memory of the famous Indian mathematician Srinivas Ramanujan. Neena Gupta is a professor at the Indian Statistical Institute or ISI in Kolkata. She has won the Ramanujan Prize 2021 for her outstanding work in affine algebraic geometry and commutative algebra. Neena Gupta is the fourth Indian to have won the Ramanujan Prize. The other three winners are also faculty members of ISI Kolkata. Professor Neena Gupta had also won the Young Scientists Award of the Indian National Science Academy in 2014. In another news related to mathematics, Indian-American mathematician Nikhil Srivastav was selected by the American Mathematical Society for Cyprian Foy's Prize. Nikhil Srivastav is an associate professor of mathematics at the University of California. The prestigious Jnanpith Awards for the year 2020 and 2021 were announced on 9th December. The Jnanpith, which is India's highest literary award, is given to writers for their outstanding contribution towards literature. Assamese poet Nilmani Fukan Jr. has won the Jnanpith Award for the year 2020 and Konkani novelist Damodar Mauzo has won for the year 2021. The 90-year-old Nilmani Fukan lives in Guwahati. He is a poet who also writes prose and is an art critic. Another winner, Damodar Mauzo, is 77-year-old and is from Goa. Mauzo is the co-founder of the Goa Arts and Literature Festival. He is also an activist and has worked towards the inclusion of Konkani as a language in the 8th schedule of the Constitution of India in the 1980s. Bhutan conferred its highest civilian award on Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 17th October. 17th October is the National Day of Bhutan. Narendra Modi is the first foreigner to receive Bhutan's highest civilian award. The award was conferred by the King of Bhutan, Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk, in recognition of Modi's contribution to India-Bhutan relations and his services to Bhutan and its people. The famous Durga Puja festival of Kolkata has been inscribed in the UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. Durga Puja is an annual Hindu festival. It is observed in the month of Ashwin, which corresponds to September-October. The 10-day Durga Puja is a fusion of religion and culture. This festival is performed and celebrated predominantly by the Bengali community. The next category is persons in news. Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika Rawat were among the 14 people who died in an air crash. The accident happened on 8th December when the Mi-17 helicopter carrying them crashed near Kunnur in Tamil Nadu. Of the 14 people on board the helicopter, 13 died on the spot, whereas Group Captain Varun Singh succumbed to his injuries 1 week later on 15th December. The 13 soldiers and one civilian killed in the accident were CDS Bipin Rawat and his wife Madhulika Rawat, Brigadier L.S. Lidder, Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh, Group Captain Varun Singh, Wing Commander Prithvi Singh Chauhan, Squadron Leader Kuldeep Singh, Junior Warrant Officer Rana Pratap Das, Junior Warrant Officer A. Pradeep, Lance Nayak Vivek Kumar, Lance Nayak B. Sai Teja, Havildar Satpal Rai, Nayak Gursevak Singh, and Nayak Jitendra Kumar. The government ordered a high-level inquiry led by Air Marshal Manvendra Singh to investigate the cause of the helicopter crash. Indian-American economist Geeta Gopinath has been appointed to a new role as the first Deputy Managing Director of International Monetary Fund. Geeta Gopinath, who is a professor of economics at Harvard University, has earlier served as the chief economist of IMF for 3 years. The first Deputy Managing Director is the second highest rank at IMF. Forbes released its annual ranking of the world's 100 most powerful women on 7th December. These 100 women come from 30 different countries and are involved in work across finance, technology, politics, philanthropy, entertainment, and more. The list includes 40 CEOs and 19 world leaders, among others. After the retirement of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, for the first time in nearly 15 years, this time we have a new person at rank 1. American novelist and philanthropist Mackenzie Scott is rank 1 in this year's Forbes list of world's most powerful women. Mackenzie Scott is the former wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. She has donated $2.7 billion of her wealth this year for philanthropic causes. The US Vice President Kamala Harris is ranked 2 in the list. The list has 4 women from India. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is at 37th position in the list. Roshni Nadar, the CEO of HCL Technologies, is at 52nd position. The other 2 Indian women in this list are Kiran Majmudar-Shaw of Biocon and Falguni Nayar of Nykaa. The British Indian business leader Leena Nair has been appointed as the CEO of the luxury fashion brand Chanel. Leena Nair is currently working as the Chief Human Resources Officer of Unilever. Nair will join the globally famous French luxury brand Chanel and will be based out of London. Leena Nair has completed her MBA in HR from XLRI Jamshedpur in 1992. She has worked with Unilever in India and England in various roles for 30 years. Leena Nair's name is now added to the list of leaders of Indian origin who have acquired significant positions in top global firms. Harnaz Sandhu from India created history by bringing home the Miss Universe crown after a gap of 21 years after Lara Datta had won the prestigious beauty pageant in 2000. Harnaz Sandhu has represented India at the 70th Miss Universe 2021 that took place in Israel. The 21-year-old Harnaz Sandhu from Punjab is an Indian model. She started her modeling career as a teenager. She has won titles of Miss Chandigarh in 2017 and Miss Punjab in 2019. The next category is Places in News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Phase 1 of Kashi Vishwanath Dham in Varanasi on 13th December. The Dham has been constructed at a cost of around 339 crore rupees. Kashi Vishwanath Corridor Project, which is a part of Kashi Vishwanath Dham, connects 2 iconic landmarks in the temple town, the Kashi Vishwanath Temple to the banks of river Ganga in Varanasi. Under Phase 1 of this project, a variety of facilities have been opened for the pilgrims including Yatri Suvidha Kendras, Tourist Facilitation Center and Vedic Centers. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of the Ganga Expressway project in Shahjahanpur district of Uttar Pradesh on 19th December. The Ganga Expressway will connect western Uttar Pradesh to eastern Uttar Pradesh. It will reduce the travel time between Delhi and Bihar. The Ganga Expressway will pass through 12 of UP's districts from west to east: Meerut, Hapar, Bulandshahr, Amroha, Sambhal, Budaun, Shahjahanpur, Hardoi, Unnao, Rai Bareli, Pratapgarh and Prayagraj. The 594-kilometer-long Ganga Expressway will also have an airstrip to facilitate emergency landing and takeoff of Air Force aircrafts. Nagaland's iconic Hornbill Festival began on 1st December in the capital city of Kohima. The 10-day cultural and tourism festival begins at the start of December and coincides with Nagaland's Statehood Day. The festival's 2021 edition comprises around 700 separate events. The festival's opening program will be held at the traditional venue, the Naga Heritage Village, Kisama, which is located 10 kilometers away from the capital, Kohima. Nearly 3 lakh visitors are expected to attend the festival this year. Let us now look at major highlights in the category of national news. The central government data has suggested that a rise in COVID-19 cases since December 26 could be a part of the global upsurge linked to Omicron. The number of cases of fast-spreading Omicron variant has risen to 1,700 in India, with Maharashtra reporting the most number of infections at 510. The country also saw a 22% jump in new COVID cases as it reported 33,750 infections. The government has said that severity issues of the Omicron variant are still not settled, though it appears to be mild. Studies are still underway to assess the impact. The centre has also written to 8 states and UTs witnessing a rapid surge in COVID-19 cases to enhance testing, strengthen hospital preparedness, increase the pace and coverage of COVID vaccination drive, and strict enforcement of restrictions to contain the spread. These states are Haryana, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, West Bengal and Jharkhand. The states have been asked to be vigilant in view of recent increase in domestic travel. The Parliament of India passed the Election Laws Amendment Bill 2021 on 21st December. The bill seeks to amend the laws relating to elections. It amends both the Representation of the People's Act of 1950 and 51. A key amendment relates to the introduction of a provision to link the electoral rolls with Aadhaar. The government says this will help weed out bogus voters, non-citizens being wrongfully included as voters, and those who figure in the electoral rolls in more than one constituency. However, this rule has attracted considerable criticism from the opposition as well as sections of civil society. The criticism is that it violates an individual's right to privacy. Despite opposition's apprehension, the bill was passed both by the Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha in quick succession. The Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021 was introduced in the Lok Sabha on 21st December. The bill was introduced by Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Smriti Irani. The bill seeks to raise the legal age of marriage for women from 18 to 21 years. The increase in the age of marriage for girls from 18 to 21 is based on the principle of gender equality and to ensure that the physical, mental and reproductive health of women is protected. It might also aid women to continue education and livelihood by avoiding an early marriage. Lok Sabha has referred the bill to a parliamentary standing committee for detailed expert opinions on the bill. The Legislative Assembly of Nagaland unanimously passed a resolution on 20th December demanding the repeal of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1958 from the Northeast, specifically from Nagaland. One-day special session of the Nagaland Assembly was called following widespread protests and demands by various organizations, tribal groups, student bodies to repeal the AFSPA. The demand for repeal of the controversial act, which gives soldiers sweeping powers to arrest and even shoot to kill in certain situations, from Nagaland have been growing louder ever since the killing of civilians by the Indian Army in Nagaland on 4th December. 14 civilians died in a firing incident in Nagaland's Mon district in indiscriminate firing by the Special Forces of Indian Army. The 14 civilians killed were daily wage laborers from a nearby village who were returning home from a coal mine. The Maharashtra Legislative Assembly has passed the Shakti Bill on 23rd December. The Shakti Bill has proposed speedy trial and heavier punishments for offences such as rapes and acid attacks. With the passage of the bill, it became the second state in India after Andhra Pradesh to approve death penalty for heinous offences of rape and gang rape. The Act requires the trial in these cases to be conducted on a day-to-day basis and completed within 30 working days from the date of filing of the charge sheet. Let us now look at major highlights in the category of international news. India and Russia held the 21st edition of the annual India-Russia Summit in New Delhi on 6th December. Russian President Vladimir Putin visited India for the summit. He was hosted by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The two leaders signed 28 agreements during the summit. The two countries agreed to extend the military technical cooperation by another 10 years. Currently, the indigenous production under this cooperation includes T-90 tanks, MiG-29 aircraft, and Su-30 fighter jets. The two countries reaffirm commitment for the purchase of S-400 missile defense system despite the American objection. The supply of S-400 system to India has started and will continue to take place. The Indian Air Force has deployed the first S-400 air defense missile system in the Punjab sector near Pakistan border. The Reserve Bank of India and Bank of Russia signed a pact to respond to cyber attacks. The leadership also discussed the evolving situation in Afghanistan, especially the security situation and its implications in the region, the current political situation, issues related to terrorism, radicalization and drug trafficking, etc. A special court in Myanmar sentenced Aung San Suu Kyi to 4 years in prison for incitement and violating coronavirus restrictions. The sentencing was the first in a series of cases in which the 76-year-old Aung San Suu Kyi is being prosecuted since the army seized power on 1st February. The military took Suu Kyi into custody on the day of its takeover and she has not been seen in public since then, though she has appeared in court in several of her trials. Media was not allowed in the court trial. The cases against Suu Kyi are seen as designed to discredit her and keep her from running in the next election. The Constitution of Myanmar bars anyone sent to prison from holding high office. The leftist leader Gabriel Boric was elected as the new president of Chile on 20th December. The 35-year-old Gabriel Boric is the youngest president of Chile and by far the most liberal since 1973 when Chile went under military dictatorship. During his campaign, Boric promised to stop neoliberal economic model of the previous government and raise taxes on the super-rich to expand social services and fight inequality. His victory is likely to be felt through Latin America, where the ideological division between left and right has been on rise amid the coronavirus pandemic. Olaf Scholz has been appointed as Germany's new Chancellor on 8th December, bringing an end to Angela Merkel's leadership. The 67-year-old Angela Merkel announced her retirement after serving as the head of Germany for 16 years. Merkel's exit from the Chancellor's office was the end of an era as she was the first woman to take Germany's top job in 2005. The new Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has been a minister in Angela Merkel's cabinet. He is a leader of the Social Democratic Party and made his first official trip to the US soon after taking over to attend a meeting hosted by US President Joe Biden. The next category is news from the fields of business, economy and industrial sectors. The Reserve Bank of India has released its bi-monthly monetary policy on 8th December. The 6-membered Monetary Policy Committee voted unanimously for keeping interest rate unchanged. The policy repo rate was kept unchanged at 4% and reverse repo rate at 3.35%. The RBI has also maintained its GDP growth forecast at 9.5%. After 3 months of due diligence, Sony Pictures Networks India has signed an agreement to merge with Zee Entertainment. The merger was initially announced in September. The merger will create India's largest entertainment network by revenue, comprised of 75 TV channels, 2 video streaming services which is ZEE5 and Sony Live, 2 film studios which include Zee Studios and Sony Pictures, a digital content studio and programming libraries. Sony Pictures Networks India will hold a majority stake of 51% in the merged entity. The promoters of Zee Entertainment will hold 3.99% and the other Zee stakeholders will hold a 45% stake in the company. Puneet Goenka will continue to be the CEO of the merged entity. The Competition Commission of India suspended Amazon's deal with Future Group on 17th December. The deal between Amazon and Future Retail was signed in November 2019. The Competition Commission of India ruled that Amazon had suppressed information while seeking regulatory approval for the deal. It also imposed a penalty of 200 crore rupees on Amazon. The ruling of the Competition Commission could have far-reaching consequences for Amazon's legal battle with Future Group. The next category is meetings and summits. 3 major summit meetings were held this month. France-based World Inequality Lab published the World Inequality Report 2022 on 8 December. The report was coordinated by famous economist Thomas Piketty. As per the report, India is among the most unequal countries in the world, with rising poverty and income inequality. The report highlights that the top 10% in India hold 57% of the total national income, while the bottom 50% share has gone down to 13%. The report pointed out that the gender inequalities in India are high. The female labor income share is equal to 18%, which is among the lowest in the world. The report goes on to say that over the past 3 years, the quality of inequality data released by the government has seriously deteriorated, which has made it particularly difficult to assess recent inequality changes. The Economist released the Cost of Living Index 2021 on 2nd December. The index tracks the cost of living in 173 cities of the world. It compares more than 200 products and services of everyday use. Israeli capital Tel Aviv is the most expensive city in the world. It was followed by Paris in the second place and Singapore in the third. In 2020, Paris was the most expensive city according to the index. None of the Indian cities figure in the first 20 ranks. The next category is science and technology. NASA successfully launched its revolutionary new James Webb Space Telescope on Christmas morning. The space telescope was launched on an Ariane 5 rocket from French Guiana. The James Webb Space Telescope is considered as the successor to the Hubble Space Telescope, which has been orbiting Earth since 1990. This next-generation observatory promises to be 10 to 100 times more sensitive than Hubble and much more capable of picking up distant celestial objects. The telescope will help scientists understand more about the origins of the universe and Earth-like planets beyond our solar system. Over the next month, the spacecraft will be journeying out to its final location 1 million miles from Earth. The James Webb Space Telescope is expected to officially enter into service in June. In a major milestone, NASA's Parker Solar Mission has successfully flown through the Sun's upper atmosphere or corona. The Parker Solar Mission passed within 6.5 million miles from the surface of the Sun. This is the first time that a spacecraft has reached so close to the Sun. The Parker Solar Probe launched on its mission in 2018, taking 3 years to fly in the Sun's corona. The probe collected samples of particles and the solar wind from the Sun that could influence the Earth. The Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, successfully conducted the first flight test of indigenously developed missile, Pralay, on 22nd December. Pralay is a surface-to-surface ballistic missile with an operational range of 150 to 500 kilometers. The missile is equipped with modern navigation system and avionics. The next category is sports. India's Kidambi Shrikant settled for a silver medal in the men's singles at the BWF World Badminton Championships 2021 in Spain after losing to Singapore's Loh Kin Yew in the finals on 19th December. The former world number 1 Kidambi Shrikant became the first Indian to win a silver in the men's category at the Badminton World Championships. Another Indian, Lakshya Sen, won the bronze in the tournament. A total of 8 Indian badminton players have won medals at the World Championship, with PV Sindhu being the only Indian to win a gold medal. India defeated Pakistan to win the bronze medal in the Asian Hockey Champions Trophy 2021 in Dhaka. India defeated Pakistan by 4-3. Harmanpreet Singh, Sumeet, Varun Kumar and Akashdeep Singh scored the goals for India. The Asian Champions Trophy 2021 was played from 14th to 22nd December in Dhaka. South Korea won their first Asian Champions Trophy title by defeating Japan in the finals. India, who lost to Japan in semi-finals, had to be satisfied with the bronze medal. The World Athletics Awards 2021 were presented on 2nd December in a virtual ceremony. Anju Bobby George of India was awarded Woman of the Year by the World Athletics Federation. Anju Bobby George is awarded for her role in grooming and encouraging young girls to take up sports in India. She is a former long jump star from India who is still actively involved in the sport. In 2016, she opened a training academy for young girls, which has already helped to produce promising stars like Shaili Singh. Shaili, who won a silver medal at the Under-20 World Championship in August this year, is a member of Anju Bobby George's academy. In the end, let us look at some other miscellaneous news items. The Parliament of Chile has passed a landmark law allowing same-sex marriage in the country. The new law also enables same-sex couples to adopt children. Chile's LGBT community has long pushed for this law. With this, Chile joins a handful of Latin American countries like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Uruguay to recognize marriage between same-sex couples. The Maharashtra government has announced a new syllabus for the students of classes 1 to 8 that includes climate change as a subject in the curriculum. The syllabus will also include related topics including solid and water waste management, biodiversity conservation, energy, air pollution, etc. The initiative has been taken under the Maji Vasundhara Abhiyan to cultivate awareness among students and make them climate conscious. The new syllabus has been created by the Department of Environment and Climate Change with the help of UNICEF. With this, we have come to the end of this video. We hope you like the coverage of topics in our monthly GK capsules. Do also watch our other videos. Happy learning. Thank you.